God's advice today. Have you ever felt that God is trying to speak to you, yet in the busyness of life, His signs go unnoticed? This message invites you to pause, reflect, and open your heart. Perhaps this is exactly what you needed to hear today. Watch until the end with openness, and if these words touch you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell to receive more messages like this. Don't forget to check the pinned comment for a 1-minute prayer and a recommended message to help strengthen your faith even more. God said, "My beloved son, draw near without fear and listen carefully, for I did not arrive late to your story, nor did I ignore your silent cries. I come at the exact time, when your heart no longer finds answers only in human strength and learns to rest. I know the nights when you asked if there was still direction. I know the moments when the silence felt too heavy and hope almost gave way. Today I tell you clearly, I have come. I came with wisdom to guide your steps, to align your choices, and to illuminate the decisions that are approaching. Do you feel that you are ready for a deep change in your life and in the lives of those you love? Sometimes all we need is a small step of faith to open the doors of abundance, peace, and the blessings that God has already prepared for us. A simple 1-minute prayer can be the beginning of a spiritual journey that transforms the inside and is reflected on the outside. If you desire to attract more light, balance, and prosperity, spiritual and material, click on the first comment. There you will find a simple practice, guided with love, that can help you connect more deeply with the divine presence in your life. My voice does not confuse, does not oppress, does not throw you into chaos. It organizes what was scattered within you, heals hidden wounds, and restores courage. When everything seemed uncertain, I had already prepared the way, adjusted the timing, and kept doors open. Do not fear the crossroads before you, for I see beyond the curves, beyond the present moment, and beyond fear. Trust in me with all your heart, do not lean only on your own understanding. Acknowledge me in all your ways, and I will make your path straight. This truth sustains your days, strengthens your decisions, and calms your soul. You are not alone, you never were, and I remain with you in every step, today, tomorrow, and always, with love. Comment, I trust in God's direction, even when I do not understand the path. The wisdom I pour upon you is not confusing or unstable. It does not change with circumstances nor get lost in the noise of the world. It acts with precision, like experienced hands adjusting details invisible to ordinary eyes, organizing what once seemed disconnected within you. I refine your discernment day after day, so that your choices are not born from fear, haste, or insecurity, but from serene confidence in my direction. There will be doors that open naturally, without excessive struggle, not because everything will be easy, but because your decisions will be aligned with what I established even before you noticed. Do not blame yourself for the mistakes of the past, nor carry burdens I never asked you to bear. Every mistake was also part of your learning, every fall brought a silent lesson. When your intention is to seek my guidance, even a stumble becomes a step, and delay turns into preparation. Walk without the weight of guilt and without the terror of failure, for I do not watch you from a distance. I walk with you, sustain your growth, strengthen your convictions, and guide your steps with constant care. If these words have found an echo in your heart, do not keep them only in silence. Allow your voice to also declare the choice you are making today. When you comment, you are not merely writing a sentence, you are reaffirming an inner decision that strengthens your faith and your walk. Every spoken word is like a seed sown with intention, and what you declare sincerely begins to align within you. Write in the comments with conviction, "I choose to walk with confidence, guided by God's wisdom." This declaration is not only for those who read it, but for your own soul, which learns to trust again. By doing this, you inspire others who also carry silent doubts and deep searches. Your simple gesture can become strength for someone who needed courage. Leave your comment, show your support, and take part in this movement of faith and purpose. Walking together strengthens us, sharing builds us up, and declaring truth establishes the path. May this conscious choice mark a new season in your journey, where trust replaces fear and wisdom guides every decision, step by step. Now listen carefully, for I am beginning a season of prosperity that is not born merely from the act of receiving, but from the maturity to manage with purpose, awareness, and spiritual responsibility. I do not bless you to imprison you in empty accumulation, nor to feed the fear of scarcity, but to position you as someone capable of multiplying with vision, balance, and generosity. What I place in your hands carries direction, and every resource comes accompanied by wisdom to be used at the right time. Small restorations begin to emerge around you and within you, and even if they seem simple to your eyes, they open space for a greater, solid, and lasting harvest. Do not ignore subtle signs, for they are silent seeds working in the unseen. I am the God who multiplies little when he finds a willing, obedient, and teachable heart, a heart that understands that to prosper is also to serve, to care, and to share. When you choose to manage faithfully, heaven cooperates with your efforts. The Lord will send a blessing on your barns and on everything you put your hand to. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 8. Trust this process, do not despise modest beginnings, and do not compare your journey with that of others, for within small beginnings dwells the principle of something great, prepared especially for you. Did you know that there is an effective method to attract greater financial prosperity? This technique can help transform your deep-seated beliefs and change the way you perceive reality. It had a profound impact on my life, and we would like to invite you to explore this special practice. When we trust that God wants to act in our lives, we gain the courage to ask Him directly. God desires to bless each of us in a unique and wonderful way. That's why it's important to seek His blessings with faith and confidence, believing that He has a special plan for you. If you would like to support our work and the team dedicated to bringing content that inspires and transforms, we invite you to check out our product. The link is available in the first comment, so you can discover how this technique can also help you on your journey. Your contribution helps us continue sharing messages that make a difference. We deeply appreciate your trust and support. I see your financial worries, the bills that stole your sleep, and the calculations that never seem to add up. But I tell you, none of this escapes me. Ideas that once seemed worthless will reveal hidden potential. The right people will appear at the right time. Favor will be released in environments where there was once resistance. Jobs, contracts, opportunities, and unlikely paths will begin to take shape before you. My provision does not follow a single pattern. It may come as a promotion, as unexpected help, as a project that begins to flourish, or as a reorganization that restores your breath and clarity. Do not limit my action to what you already know. Learn to recognize my hand even in simple details, in small openings, in quiet solutions. When you look back, you will see that nothing was random. I was aligning steps, timing conversations, and preparing doors you could not yet see. Trust that I am working beyond what you calculate and beyond what you fear. Write in the comments, I believe that God opens paths where there was no way. I also visit your body and your mind with a restoring touch. I know where it hurts, I know what has weakened over time, and I know the silent battles you have faced without words. I do not promise the absence of challenges, but I promise constant presence and progressive recovery. My word releases life where exhaustion settled. I am the Lord who heals you. Exodus chapter 15 verse 26. There are healing processes that begin from the inside out, strengthening not only your body but also your hope. What you feel today is not the final chapter. Renewal often comes gently, rebuilding strength day by day, breath by breath. Allow yourself to receive without resistance, to rest without guilt, and to believe again without fear of disappointment. Faith does not deny pain, it trusts healing even while the process unfolds. Receive this visit with faith and rest. Write in the comments, I receive the healing and restoration that come from the Lord. Old symptoms begin to lose their power. Sleep becomes deeper and more restorative, the mind finds quiet, and the joy of living slowly returns. To those who live trapped by fear of tomorrow, I grant calm courage. A courage that does not shout, does not seek attention, but moves forward with steadiness. Do not confuse courage with the absence of fear. Courage is walking even while fear is present, trusting that you are not alone. Today I inspire you to begin again with perseverance, without abandoning the path before seeing the fruit. I also want to heal your inner life. Emotional wounds that still tighten your chest begin to find relief. Memories that once carried shame lose their power in the light of my love. I do not see you by your mistakes, but by the identity I gave you. Therefore, there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans chapter 8 verse 1. My grace does not cover to hide, but transforms to set free. Write in the comments, I walk with courage even when fear tries to stop me, and I accept God's grace and release the past. Understand that not every blessing arrives in the way you imagined. Sometimes I adjust, prune, and reorganize because I see far beyond what is immediate. Do not fear realignments, they are signs of care, not loss. I release supernatural help into urgent situations, even when you feel surrounded by uncertainty. What once seemed impossible begins to unfold step by step, quietly and precisely. A phone call, a conversation, a simple recommendation can become the thread that weaves a great miracle. What looks small to you can carry eternal purpose in my hands. Learn to value the process, because growth is often happening where you least expect it. I am not delayed, nor am I absent. I am working in layers you cannot yet perceive, protecting you from outcomes you never saw coming. Trust that every adjustment has intention, every pause has meaning, and every redirection carries wisdom. When plans shift, it is not punishment, but guidance. Rest your heart in this truth. I see the full picture, and my care is constant. I prepare encounters with purpose. Influential people will cross your path not by chance, but by direction. When you act with integrity and generosity, you become fertile ground for alliances that produce true and lasting prosperity. Old dreams, once set aside because of lack of resources or fear, begin to breathe again. What you thought was delayed was only being preserved. I have not forgotten the desires I placed in your heart. Every step of obedience, even the quiet ones no one applauded, has been building a path toward fulfillment. The Lord will fulfill His purpose for me. Psalm 138 verse 8. This is not just a promise, it is an active movement already unfolding. The creativity I awaken within you will not be wasted. It will become an instrument of provision, sustainability, and service to others. Ideas will find form. Visions will gain structure. What once felt too big will become manageable, and what once felt distant will come within reach. Trust that I am aligning timing, resources, and people. Nothing is random. Everything is intentional. Believe that dreams can be revived, and that new paths are opening where none seemed possible before. Finally, keep your heart anchored in gratitude. Giving thanks before you see the full picture is not naive, it is active faith in motion. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to trust, from anxiety to expectation. Every word of thanks expands the flow of what is already on its way toward you. Do not underestimate the small signs along the journey, because they announce great answers in advance. A door slightly open, a conversation that brings peace, a moment of unexpected clarity, all of these are confirmations. Everything I begin in you carries continuity, growth, and purpose. I do not start things to abandon them halfway. Remain steady, confident, and available. Your posture matters. What I promised has not been lost, delayed beyond repair, or forgotten. It is simply beginning to manifest in layers, step by step, season by season. Stay present. Stay faithful. Stay grateful. What you are witnessing now is only the beginning of a greater unfolding, one that will reveal that every promise is being fulfilled with precision and care. I offer you peace for the turbulent nights, a peace that does not merely quiet the surface of your thoughts but reaches the deeper places where fear once hid. The rest I give is not escape, it is restoration. Where anxiety once tightened its cords around your chest, I loosen them gently, teaching your heart again how to breathe. The dreams that once arrived heavy with unrest will now become spaces of healing, places where your spirit recovers strength without striving. When you awaken, you will sense renewal, not a loud excitement, but a steady readiness for the quiet battles of good, the faithful work, the small acts of kindness, the daily choices that seem insignificant yet, when woven together, reshape entire lives. Do not despise the ordinary rhythms of your days. In them, I am forming endurance, clarity, and courage. The peace I give trains you to walk forward without panic, to face responsibilities without dread, and to trust that even the unseen labor is producing a transformation far greater than you realize. I release blessings now over your children and your family, over relationships that have been strained by misunderstanding, exhaustion, or silence. Paths that once seemed lost will become visible again. Young hearts that wandered without direction will begin to recognize purpose stirring within them. Conversations once avoided will soften, and where defensiveness ruled, a willingness to listen will grow. I place protection over homes, schools, and the daily routes that carry loved ones through their routines. Where delay has caused discouragement, I bring momentum. Where confusion blurred decisions, I establish clarity. I am present not only in sacred moments but in kitchens, classrooms, vehicles, offices, and ordinary streets. My care does not hover at a distance, it walks beside you. As you entrust your family to me, you will notice subtle shifts, timing aligning, words arriving at the right moment, and resilience replacing despair. These are not coincidences, they are signs of my nearness working quietly for your good. I open unexpected professional paths before you, doors you had not considered because disappointment trained you to expect less. Those who felt trapped in work without meaning will begin to see alternatives infused with purpose. Creativity will awaken where routine once dulled your vision. Entrepreneurs will receive ideas that carry both provision and service, and new connections will form with those prepared to support growth. Favor will rest upon interviews, selections, negotiations, and decisions that once felt intimidating. I touch resumes, proposals, presentations, and conversations, aligning the right people at the right time. Understand this: progress does not always announce itself loudly. Often it begins as a quiet internal shift, a restored confidence, a willingness to try again. As you take steps forward, even small ones, I will meet you there. The skills you doubted, the experience you undervalued, and the resilience you earned through hardship will become tools in your hands, instruments through which I shape outcomes beyond what fear once allowed you to imagine. I also look upon the battles you fight in silence, the habits that bind, the patterns that exhaust, the dependencies that promise relief but deliver captivity. I declare victories here as well. Freedom rarely arrives in a single dramatic moment. More often, it is built decision by decision, courage by courage. Each small choice toward healing gathers strength, storing momentum for lasting change. Do not allow shame to isolate you. Asking for help is not weakness, it is wisdom aligned with truth. I work through human hands, through counselors, friends, communities, and unexpected allies. Where you felt alone, support will appear. Where cycles seemed unbreakable, light will enter. Remember this: your struggle does not define you, and your past does not disqualify you. I am not intimidated by the depth of your wounds. I am skilled in restoration, patient in process, and faithful beyond measure. I use willing hearts and ordinary hands to rebuild what seemed irreparably damaged. Dreams once buried under disappointment are not forgotten, they are waiting for the right season. Projects, studies, social initiatives, and acts of compassion will receive support and renewed energy. Communities will experience both spiritual and practical renewal, not through grand gestures alone but through consistent faith expressed in action. When blessing moves collectively, its reach extends far beyond any single building or institution. It touches neighborhoods, shapes cultures, and influences generations. As you invest in what builds others, you become more than an individual, you become a movement. This is how lasting change takes root, when personal restoration overflows into shared responsibility, when faith becomes visible through service, and when hope is translated into tangible care. Your willingness to give, even from limited resources, multiplies in ways you may never fully witness, yet its impact will endure. Your story has never been left to chance. Every step, every detour, every pause is woven into a design larger than your present understanding. Even when the road appears dark, my light has not dimmed. It shines in small confirmations, in quiet nudges of the heart, in alignments that cannot be explained away. Walk with awareness. Pay attention. I am writing chapters of rescue and renewal in the areas you once neglected or feared to revisit. What you avoided out of pain will become a place of testimony. What you believed was wasted time will reveal hidden preparation. Nothing surrendered to me is lost. As you move forward, keep your eyes open not for perfection, but for presence. I am with you in the unfolding, steady and attentive, guiding without forcing, inviting without pressure. Do not rush to see the entire work completed. Allow each day to bring its portion of revelation. Patience is not passive waiting, it is active trust in my rhythm. As you continue, a quiet certainty will grow within you, a knowing that you are not alone, that you are guided, and that you are loved beyond measure. This certainty does not remove challenges, but it changes how you face them. Fear loses its authority when trust takes root. You will begin to discern when to act and when to rest, when to speak and when to remain silent. In this discernment, peace becomes your companion. You are not called to stagnation, but to a fluid movement aligned with purpose, guided by an inner compass I have calibrated within you. From this assurance will flow a strength that transforms not only your inner world but everything around you. Expansion requires a new internal posture, a willingness to release the final weights that slow your progress. Old doubts that whisper familiarity is safer than growth must be surrendered. Trust that the same momentum stirring in your spirit is already working in the natural realm, aligning circumstances and preparing ground for new beginnings. An open, grateful heart is fertile soil for promise. As your perception sharpens, you will learn to distinguish between fleeting desire and the deep peace that confirms true direction. Abundance, then, will no longer be measured only by what sustains you, but by what flows through you to nourish others. Like a river that refuses containment, your life will irrigate dry places, bringing warmth, clarity, and hope far beyond what you once believed possible. Lift your eyes higher than the noise of the valley and allow your vision to be reshaped from above. I am inviting you to see as eagles see, not trapped in the dust of confusion, but suspended in clarity where purpose becomes visible. When you rise in faith, you no longer drown in fragments or distractions, you begin to perceive the whole design. From these heights, what once felt chaotic reveals its meaning, and what seemed delayed shows its timing. I am expanding your perception so you can recognize that nothing in your journey has been random. Each ascent sharpens your discernment, each stretch strengthens your wings. You were not created to crawl through life guessing your direction. You were formed to soar with understanding, to move forward with intention, to trust that every elevation brings you closer to the fullness of what I have prepared. Prepare yourself now, because new horizons are opening before you. Paths that appeared sealed will begin to respond to your steps. Ventures that felt stagnant will suddenly breathe again. Opportunities will emerge from places you never considered, and assistance will arrive from distances you never expected. Ideas that once lived scattered in your mind will align with surprising coherence, forming strategies that carry life. I am orchestrating connections that will accelerate what has been waiting. Conversations will open doors. Encounters will shift trajectories. What remained only on paper will begin to manifest in substance. This is not coincidence, it is alignment. I am drawing the right people, the right resources, and the right timing into convergence. What you could not force will unfold naturally, because when I move, resistance dissolves. Do not be troubled when certain cycles come to an end. Closure is not loss when it is guided by purpose. What appears like an ending is often a refinement. Growth requires pruning, and fruitfulness demands space. Some relationships will fade, not because they failed, but because they completed their assignment. Some roles will lose meaning, not because you are ungrateful, but because you are being repositioned. Certain habits will no longer fit who you are becoming. I do not remove things to diminish you, I remove them to multiply you. Just as a tree must release excess branches to bear stronger fruit, so your life is being shaped for expansion. Trust the process, even when it feels uncomfortable. What I am adjusting now will support what I am about to release. I declare expansion not only over your work, but over your joy. Laughter that once felt distant will return unexpectedly. Simple moments will carry deep satisfaction. You will notice small signs of care woven into ordinary days, and those moments will accumulate into gratitude. The heaviness that clung to your spirit will loosen its grip, replaced by a quiet confidence that renewal is real. Your joy will not be fragile, it will be rooted. When it overflows, it will illuminate others who are still navigating shadows. You will become a point of reference, a living reminder that light is stronger than despair. The space you occupy will no longer contain the blessing being poured out. Just as vessels once filled beyond expectation, your life will experience abundance that spills past limitation. Make room for what is coming. Expansion requires preparation. Clear space in your schedule, in your thinking, in your expectations. Release what crowds your heart and leaves no room for growth. When you prepare, you participate. I have already ordered multiplication, but receptivity matters. Empty vessels receive oil, cluttered ones do not. Open your hands, your plans, your imagination. Stretch your capacity to believe. This is not about striving harder, but about allowing more. When you prepare space, you signal readiness. You acknowledge that what is arriving is larger than what you have known. This posture of openness aligns you with the flow of increase already in motion. Do not fear growth. Many hesitate because they doubt their ability to sustain what is new. But I tell you, it does not rest on your strength alone. I am the support beneath the expansion. I am the source that nourishes the root, the foundation that carries the structure. What I place in your hands will not crush you, it will dignify you. This season will not bring anxiety, it will bring fulfillment. You are not being overwhelmed, you are being entrusted. Trust that I equip those I enlarge. Every new responsibility will come with provision. Every wider territory will come with grace to steward it well. Receive this declaration and step into a broader measure. I am moving you from confinement into openness, from limitation into possibility. Your thinking is being renewed, your resilience reinforced, your relationships clarified to support your progress. Protection surrounds your steps as you advance into unfamiliar ground. Scarcity will no longer define your narrative, abundance will rewrite it. Where barriers once stood, pathways will emerge. Where fear once ruled, courage will rise. What felt distant will come within reach, because the order has already been issued. The atmosphere is shifting, and alignment is taking place beyond what you can see. I promise a restoration that reaches the deepest layers of your story. Not a surface repair, not a temporary fix, but a renewal that touches the root and reassembles what was fractured. I know every loss you carry, every expectation that collapsed, every plan interrupted by disappointment. Those memories no longer define you. I gather every broken fragment and weave light through them, transforming what was shattered into something more beautiful than before. Nothing is wasted. Pain becomes purpose. Damage becomes design. This restoration is intentional, coordinated, and complete. What was taken will be returned with increase. What was weakened will emerge strengthened. This is not random healing, it is deliberate renewal. And as it unfolds, you will recognize that the very places that once hurt the most are now the ones shining the brightest. Tears are never wasted. Even the ones that fall in silence, even the ones you thought no one noticed, even the ones you wiped away before they could be seen. They travel through hidden corridors of your life, places marked by loneliness, disappointment, and unanswered prayers. They move gently through memories you tried to forget and gather every whispered request you believed was lost in the air. Nothing escapes this movement. Every longing, every sigh, Every moment when hope trembled but did not fully die is collected and returned transformed. Look around you with attentive eyes. Learn to recognize the subtle signs. A word that arrives at the precise moment your strength was fading. A hand extended just when you thought you would fall. An unexpected opening where you had only seen walls. These are not coincidences. They are the quiet footsteps of restoration beginning to make themselves visible in your world. Imagine your life as a garden that was once full of color, then slowly forgotten. Over time, weeds grew without resistance, taking space that once belonged to beauty. Old flowers withered, not because they were weak, but because they lacked care, water, and light. I do not come merely to remove what chokes the soil. I come with intention, with vision, with renewal. I bring new plants, new roots, and a new system of nourishment. Some areas will bloom again from what was planted long ago, roots that survived beneath the surface despite neglect. Other areas will receive entirely new seeds, gifts you did not know how to ask for. Do not resist either process. Restoration does not always look like returning to the past. Sometimes it looks like replacing what was lost with something stronger, wiser, and more aligned with who you are becoming. Even in seasons that feel dry and unproductive, beneath the surface, life is already stirring. My word becomes water for the dry ground within you. It becomes sunlight for the fragile shoots that are just beginning to emerge. Growth may feel slow at first, almost imperceptible, but it is real. With every step forward, you are gaining wisdom you did not have before. Restoration does not erase scars, it transforms them. The marks left by pain are not signs of defeat, but evidence of survival and renewal. You will not be the same person you were before the breaking. You will be more resilient, more compassionate, more deeply rooted in what truly matters. Strength will no longer come from avoiding pain, but from understanding how to move through it without losing yourself. This inner transformation will not remain hidden. It will overflow naturally into the lives of others. Your restored story will become shelter for those still trembling in their own storms. Light will shine through places that were once cracked, guiding others toward healing they did not yet believe possible. Grace moves in cycles. What you receive, you will find yourself sharing without effort. Where there was once emptiness, there will now be color and fragrance. When I speak of restoration, I do not offer vague promises. I declare renewal where weakness once ruled. Strength where fatigue had settled deep into your bones. Care that reaches beneath the surface, touching places no one else could access. Energy returns. Rest becomes restorative again. The body responds, the mind quiets, the heart finds rhythm. When I speak of healing, I speak of wholeness. Memories that once brought anguish lose their grip. Thoughts rooted in fear grow quieter as peace takes their place. I do not erase your experiences, I purify them. I remove the weight that turned lessons into burdens. The process may include practical steps, professional guidance, honest conversations, and sincere embraces, but the core is spiritual. Restoration always begins from the inside and moves outward. Relationships are restored with care and patience. Resentment loosens its hold when forgiveness is welcomed, not as denial, but as release. Forgiveness does not instantly recreate what once existed. It begins the rebuilding of bridges that collapsed under misunderstanding and pain. Stone by stone, trust is laid again. Boards are aligned carefully. Steps are taken slowly, with intention. In many situations, restoration will come through providential encounters, honest dialogue, and gestures that heal more deeply than explanations ever could. If you fear reopening old wounds, know that presence transforms risk into opportunity. Distance gives way to closeness. Silence is replaced with words that carry healing. Where communication was broken, understanding begins to flow again. Restoration does not force outcomes, it invites them to grow naturally in an atmosphere of truth and grace. Financial restoration follows the same principle. It is not simply the return of what was lost, but a repositioning. Imagine a hidden room filled with resources you never knew existed, a door that remained closed until now. When it opens, you discover drawers of opportunity, alliances, and ideas prepared to surprise you. I can restore what was taken, but I can also create entirely new channels of provision. Opportunities emerge where there were once only closed doors. Favor appears in places that once resisted you. Yet with blessing comes responsibility. Wisdom is required to steward what arrives. Restoration brings teaching alongside provision. Healthy habits are cultivated. Old patterns are replaced. Creativity is awakened. Learning becomes part of abundance. What grows in your hands is meant to multiply, not to control you, but to equip you to live with purpose and generosity. Dreams, too, are restored. Some were buried under fear of failure. Others were set aside because exhaustion spoke louder than hope. I do not only revive what once existed, I transform it. Dreams return reshaped, refined, and aligned with who you have become. A calling may reappear with a different face, a different rhythm, a deeper meaning. Restoration is not repetition. It is evolution. Your contribution to the world may take a form you never imagined, yet it will feel more true than anything before. Alongside this renewal, justice unfolds quietly but powerfully. Loss caused by injustice is not ignored. Interventions come in unexpected ways. Situations reverse. Truth is revealed. Recognition finds its way to the right place. Restoration weaves together healing, purpose, provision, and wisdom, creating a future that is not merely repaired, but transformed. And as you walk forward, you will realize that what once broke you has become the foundation upon which a stronger, more meaningful life is being built. I hope this message has been an inspiration to you. If it touched your heart, write Amen in the comments and share it with someone who also needs to hear this word. I invite you to click on the first comment, where you will find a special prayer and a suggestion to strengthen your spiritual journey. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive more inspiring content like this. See you tomorrow.